What's up everybody, it's Jack from Strong Dragon Training, back again with my second video on the narrow dumbbell rows. So if you guys remember, the last time we've covered this topic, I've mentioned that I'm going to continue on and show you guys all the different ways and styles you can do the narrow dumbbell rows. And last time, in the first video of the series, it was on a flat bench. So that was the absolute basic way of doing these dumbbell rows. Today, we're going to take that bench and move it up a notch. Literally, we're going to incline the bench and I'm going to explain to you guys how this hits the latissimus dorsi in a different fashion. Of course, moving forward, just a little bit of a sneak peek, we're going to go into holding on to different objects, getting off of the bench, and eventually we're going to move into the cable. So we're going to drop the dumbbell out of the nave, but still keep it into the rows, right? So all these different styles and fashions, you can hit the same muscle and just get amazing results out of it and total development of it as is. So let's get into the incline bench, single arm dumbbell narrow rows. Alright, so before we go any further with the exercise, I want you guys first to understand a little bit about the basic anatomy of where the latissimus dorsi originate and insert into your body. So, from the originating point, there are actually 4 different points considered to be the originating side of the latissimus dorsi. It starts off on T6 and till T12. So they go from the spine of the vertebrae, T6 to T12, the thoracic side of the vertebrae. Then also from L1 to L5, so from the lumbar region, spine L1 to L5, goes into the iliac crest, right at your hips, and then comes all the way to the lower 4 ribs. So all those points are considered the originating point. From there, it goes up on your back and inserts in the intertubercular sulcus of your humerus. Now let's rewind that a little bit. If you remember my last video, I said that every time if you were to watch a bodybuilding show, for example, and you see the men and the women doing a lat spread, and you see that back widening out like flying squirrel wings or like curtains coming around, those are your lats or latissimus dorsi. So those muscles come in up on the side. If you were even to grab yourself from on the side here, you would feel them going up into your underarm, okay? So the insertion goes up into the underarm and actually attaches right up here in the humerus, in the upper part of your arm. So it's weird, right? But that is exactly why the lats are the opposite muscle to the deltoids, because the deltoids lift your arm up, but if you were to grab away and pull like on the cables down, that's when the lats activate. All right, so this is why the fibers going vertical pretty much right onto your back, you can you can definitely decide when you work the fibers closer to the spine or further away from the spine. Hence why, for example, on lat pull downs, you can go super wide and work really wide on the outside of the lats, or you can go narrow and work closer to the spine. Also vice versa, when you go really narrow with the V-bar pulling in, or when you go a little bit wider with the wider bar pulling in. Not super wide where your elbows are up, because now we're changing muscles altogether. So, back to our exercise for the day. As you can see, you need a bench, just like last time, but this time I've inclined the bench to 45-degree angle, right? Posture-wise, we're almost the same as at the other flat bench rows, in the sense that we have the knee that stays right into the grove of the bench, right? Because one side of the bench is where is generally the seating point, where if you were to do incline chest presses, for example, you would sit on this portion of the bench, and then your back would lie over here. But you will put your knee into this grove, the other leg either comes out right in front of you for support, or you put it in the back. Me personally, I prefer to pull it back here. I find better support out of it. And from here, your hand can either go at the top of the bench holding, or you can go a little bit lower. What I usually suggest, I personally do both, okay? Because when I'm going down like this, I'm at a lower angle. When I'm going up like this, I'm at a higher angle. So you're hitting the different fibers into your lats, going upwards and towards the origin point, all right? So the dumbbell is also, just like on the other one over here, I need your back to be straight. I need your chest to be forward. If you were to have a mirror right in front of you, you should be able to see your chest, but always looking up. If you're looking down, chances are you're going to curve your back, and we do not need this kind of a curve in your back. It's way too risky. Okay, so I'm having my support here, I'm having my foot right in the back straight, and remember how I mentioned in the last video, just a little bit of a pinch or a strain in the lower back, not painful, but you're feeling it is there. That's when you know your lower back is tense and activated, your core, your abs are sucked in and tight, and all right, now notice there, what I have done is I was actually moving my head, looking down to make sure that my elbow is in place and close to the body, and I'm just looking around to make sure everything is in place. What I recommend on that is until you get to the point where I would like to call expert level, and you know you have control over your back and what you do not risk moving your head out of position. Keep your head forward and ask somebody else, maybe your friend or your personal trainer or whomever's there with you, to check your posture, to make sure your elbow is closed. If you have nobody, then the one way that I always recommend to check for your elbow is feel it scraping on your body, okay? You should feel your elbow just wiping by your ribs coming up, all right? So from this position, okay, so you breathe out and then in. Every time you exert the muscle, you breathe out. When you stretch the muscle, you breathe in. Now we're going all the way back now to the first video on the shoulder movement. It's just as important in this angle of the narrow dumbbell rows as it was in the flat version. You have to keep the shoulder back and flex the lats, and then let it stretch just a little bit as you're going down. You don't want to just move the arm up like this, because we're going back to the original problem where I feel my biceps, I feel my forearm, I feel my shoulder, but I feel nothing in my back. It's because you don't activate your back, okay? Similar idea into the one where you're standing up. Again, you have a different angle, a taller angle, and now you're able to go way more higher to the T6, T12 origin of the latissimus dorsi, and here the chest is out, you're nice and tall, pull to the ribs. And again, as I'm going up, I'm feeling my elbow scrape right on the side of my lats, so I know I'm close enough. I have a mirror next to me, so I'm able to check my posture in there as well. And if I need to, I'm always focused on my lower back to not curve. I'm focused on my shoulder to be back and then stretch as I'm going down, but I am not curving my back. So if I am to quickly check to make sure everything is positioned, I make sure that I still feel that little bit of tension in the lower back over here. And that is the key point. That is when you know that your back is straight, your core is tight, and you're not risking any kind of injury. So one more time quickly, you have the low one. And notice my shoulder as it's moving back and up every single time I do this one, or in this position over here, moving back, retracting, and then stretching out. You're always looking for a little bit of stretch on your lats and then flexing them and contracting them as you go back up. The scapula or your shoulder blade needs to pull back and down just a little bit to really activate those lats and how they move. So there you go, guys. There's another version of how to do the narrow dumbbell rows. I've kind of clamped together two different exercises because they were so close to each other. It's exactly the same position. We didn't really change much, just the position of the arm. But long and short story is, it's exactly the same overall idea as it was in my last video. You need to keep your back straight. You cannot allow your back to curve down. You need to keep your core tight and feel that little bit of pinch in the lower back, which indicates that the lower back is engaged and tight and is ready for action. The shoulder needs to move back every time you pull the dumbbell close to you, and it needs to move forward just slightly when the dumbbell goes down, so you get that stretch into your lats. The elbow can't go out too far. It has to stay scraping right next to your body to get the lats engaged the most. You go too far out, you're moving into the trapezius. You're killing the exercise altogether. You're attempting one thing, but you're doing another. Finally, the breathing has to go out. Breathe out as you bring the dumbbell close to your body. Breathe in as the dumbbell goes away from the body. So I hope you guys took away a little bit from this video. I believe this one is probably going to be a new exercise for some of you. If it was a little bit too rushed or you didn't really understand everything that I wanted to say in this video, or maybe you have some questions building up of this video, please leave me a comment below. I'll answer as soon as possible. 24 hours is my absolute max wait time. I always try to keep on top of my comments. Please follow and subscribe. Ring that little bell up there so that you don't miss any one of my videos. I'm going to be posting moving forward 3 times a week. I'm going to get into this schedule to start posting more and more and more, because there's so many exercises out there, so many different types and angles and ways to do exercises. Yes, you're probably hitting the same muscle, but that's what causes the muscle to be surprised, to be shocked, and keep on changing and getting results out of your body. When you change just something as simple as the angle, you know, the wrist may be this way or your body is a little bit higher, or things like that, that always make a difference. So 3 times a week, I'm going to make it a regular thing to upload new videos. So subscribe and follow. Don't miss any of these videos, because they're going to be amazing if you're a beginner, if you're more advanced. So I'm going to go through all the different levels and what you can do into the gym. My name is Dragos from Strong Dragon Training. Push until you hit a wall and then break through it. I'll catch you guys on my next video.